Hello everybody and welcome back to Cities Skylines, where we have a bit of a flow problem here. Specifically, the problem is that this on-ramp is interfering with this bypass. Now this bypass is imperfect, there's no doubt about that, but this is not necessarily the problem. The problem here is that this merges into this turn lane, whether these guys want to, merge in or not. There's a lot of backup over this way, and that definitely does need to get dealt with. The real question now is, how do we go about handling this? Well, I want to track the path of somebody through here. I'm going to choose this hatchback. Okay, we're not moving right now. I'm going to choose this city car, and the question is, when is this going to get to move? These lane changes here are a bit of a problem. Indeed. Nobody's utilizing this turn lane at this moment. They are by the time they get here, but these guys could definitely move forward. There's a lot of traffic up over here, right? No doubt about that. So that is certainly a bit of a problem. The real question is, what do we do about it? I don't know how much of this traffic. Can we look at the route that this car is trying to take? Well, their destination is here. Okay. So we can assume that they're going to want to take this bypass. Sure. I'm thinking about, and this would be kind of horrific looking potentially, but I'm thinking about having a path to take on the bypass. So this would be coming out over like this way, right? And then this merges in out over here. Obviously, this is a problem here, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. Maybe it comes in like this. That is kind of horrific. I mean, I don't like the directionality of it. So maybe it's just like a second exit here that comes up and over out this direction. It would need to come out like this, I think, and merge its way in over here. But this is trying to create crossings here, which is certainly not what we want. So we need this to make its way out over this way, right? But this is a really sharp angle to take. Really, really sharp angle. I don't want that. But there's definitely an interesting option here to create a way to go directly to this bypass. I think this is going to be a lot of the traffic up over here, and so that might not be the worst of concepts. What if we were to bring this out over here instead? And try to bring this up and over up here? I'm going to turn off snapping for the moment and see if we can find anything that is unsnapped out over here. I would love to have this. Oh, hello. Well, that's actually going to interrupt these streets. Yeah, that's not going to be great, I don't think. Okay. What about another route? What I'm thinking here is we would simply take an off-ramp, something like this, and it would merge in down here like that. And now the route would be that they would exit here, stay in this lane, and exit here to go onto the bypass and completely not go this way. So this would only be relevant if you specifically wanted to go west, which may or may not be a thing. Now, we'll see if that starts pulling some of this traffic here up. It might. And that also might cause some issues down here, but this is naturally going to be kind of slow because there's a lot of curvature here, right? But let's just bring that in. Ah, here we go. Now we are seeing some traffic being pulled up this direction. That's good. That is very, very good. The lane changing behavior here is what's primarily causing this backup. That and this going down to 50 kilometers per hour, which is, of course, non-ideal. But sure. So as far as this goes, I think that there should probably, really there should be a yield sign here, but there is no option for yield. So I'm going to put a stop sign. I don't want to put one here. I want to put one only here. Okay. Well, this guy just careened into this car. Okay. This is probably going to be reasonably fine. As far as merging on goes, there's going to be a steady flow of traffic through here, no doubt about that. Yeah, this is definitely pulling some of the strain off of this exit. That said, oh, this is starting to clean up a little bit. Up over here, we've got some space. I don't know what that guy was doing. He just pulled up here and then pulled back and left this way. Whatever. Sure. So we are moving forward over here. This is progressing. The question then is, just how much traffic do we have going on here? And the answer is quite a bit. The other thing that they can do, of course, is they can come down here and go up like this instead of taking this exit, which I think is what a lot of these are starting to do. But I do think that this would be a cleaner bypass here. So that would probably be ideal. This police car is attempting to head to an emergency and is currently stuck in traffic, which, you know, is not necessarily ideal. But once we get through this, we'll have this queue push through, and this is cleaning up, I believe. We're definitely seeing the backup moving down here. So there is that. First, one thing we could do is we could take this down to a single lane until it arrives here. And I think that's maybe not a bad idea. So that way we don't have any merging issues. So we take this to a single lane it here-ish, and then single lane this up over here. Kind of like that. Okay, this is kind of horrific. Let's remake this section. Yeah, from here. This will be fine. So we're going to remake this section in Curve Tool. I want to bring this guy down and in over here. We'll have to find the exact point that we can get through here where there's no pillar, of course. And we'll have to bring this down to ground level. So I believe that'll end up being somewhere around here.
It means we're not cutting things close enough.
Well, no. The point is,
okay, I'm going to turn off snapping.
Bringing money into local
That's right. You could almost say it's too much of a good thing.
And right there. There we go. So what that ends up doing is that means that there's now a dedicated lane here and a dedicated lane here, which means we should have no stopping here. Now, this also means that we've still got this awkward situation here, but we shouldn't see cars actually really wanting to take the Glade Highway on-ramp all that frequently. So that should smooth out the traffic flow here. And then we run into our problem here, but this is basically a dedicated turn lane at this point. I do not want to allow a left-hand turn from here. So no left there. It's definitely flowing a lot smoother right here. And as we merge in here, this is all dedicated lanes as well. So until we hit this merge in here, we're reasonably fine. One thing I'm thinking about is perhaps extending this larger 6-lane road out to be somewhere out this way as well, and then doing the merge in up here so we have a little bit more space. We do want to forbid the crosswalks in these areas, of course, so no crosswalks in any of these. Thank you very much. Okay. So that is certainly flowing better until we, you know, run into this issue. There's also this pillar clipping through, which isn't ideal, but that doesn't actually impede traffic, I don't think. What are these guys doing? Okay. This is not how you're supposed to operate this, but whatever. This is running into broadly the same issue as this, but, I mean, we are definitely clearing our way through this. So this is going to end up clearing up very shortly, which means that this will clear up. And then we've got this problem, right? And this is the same issue that we had before, where our merge lane and our turn lane are the same thing. We could simply try to move back where this merges in at and have this come up a little bit closer. So that would end up being somewhere around, turn on snapping, please. This would come up, like, up over here. Like that. And they'll eventually pathfind their way over, but that's okay. So that gives us more space to maneuver here and makes this slightly less awkward, but it's not tremendously less awkward. We still have this lane merge right here, which is definitely non-ideal. But I think this will work for now. We just need to get these guys moved through, right? This is starting to move now, and that's not impeding this traffic. What's really impeding... Whoa. Whoa, that's very flickery. Okay, I'm not sure what was going on with that. What's really impeding this traffic is this lane attempting to merge in here. And they shouldn't be attempting to merge in here. This is the through lane. This is the turn lane, right? So they should be trying to merge in this space, but there's not a lot of space here. So we can see there's a lot of traffic back this way, all trying to merge into the Washington Highway. And this traffic is redirecting this way. So what we end up getting here is the traffic has abandoned this route and is now trying to overload this route. So we functionally moved our issue. There is a little bit of traffic still taking this route, and that's good, but that is by no means the majority of our traffic. So yes, this merge in here is what's causing the issues. Okay, so what do we want to do about that? Well, we have a couple of options, and I think our best option here is to eliminate that for the moment and bump this up to a 6-lane road specifically here. This is a lot of little parts, but specifically about there. And then this lane comes out here and merges in down this way. So we would end up having this guy. Snapping is being a little awkward here. Coming in like that. So this becomes a dedicated turn lane here. This merges in like this. I don't necessarily love that merge in. We'll see if that causes any issues. We need to forbid any of these crosswalks. We also need to say no stoplights. Here or here. There's also a little bit of a gap here in the road. I'm sure it's fine. This pillar became way worse. way, way, way worse. I'm going to actually get rid of this, and I'm going to move it back ever so slightly. Back to about here or so. That's coming back slope too steep. And that's up over here that's causing the slope too steep. Okay, what if we brought this to be... I mean, I really didn't like that pillar there, but this was a valid location for it. Yeah, that pillar is really gross. So what if we just brought it out from this pillar? And made it be something kind of like this. Ah, that pillar. The pillar is such a problem. Such a problem. Let's just take this out for the moment and try rebuilding this. That pillar, though. Okay, we're going to rebuild all of that. Cool. So I want to extend this guy from about here to about here. That seems okay. I also want to upgrade back over this way, but we're going to have to eliminate this. I want to have a dedicated lane over here, right? So I want to have that be about there that upgrade happens. It creates a little bit of a bump there. What is this line here? Stoplight? Okay, yeah, that's a stoplight. So let's not have a stoplight here. That would be ideal. Let's also not have a crosswalk. That would be ideal. No left turn here. A little bit of a pillar issue here, but it's not too bad. Now we're going to need to take this guy from about here and bring it in somewhere up over this way. That's giving us overlapping items. But this is acceptable. Okay. No stoplight here. No crosswalk here. Okay. Let's see what that ends up doing. It'll do something. That's for sure. It'll definitely do something. Dude. Why are you like this? Merge in earlier. There's so much room back here. So much room. But they don't. Okay, so in this case, the merging here is definitely 100% the issue. This is intended to be a dedicated turn lane here. Although it's got this merge in here, which I would prefer that this merge in actually happens maybe before the turn lane comes in. So that would end up being this then. Now this is a dedicated turn lane. We're still seeing people merge in at the very last moment in really awkward ways, causing huge amounts of slowdowns. Like this. Can you not? Merge in over here. I get that they were past this when we put this in, but yikes. Hopefully, we'll get this sorted. Hopefully. This side really doesn't need to have 3 lanes, is the thing. So this should really be like an asymmetric road here, right? So like an asymmetric 5-lane road. So that would be this. And with the upgrade tool, we would want this to be... Okay, this is very awkward the way that this wants to go. But about here... I don't love the snapping that we've got going on here. About here. Then about here. Sure. Something kind of like that. So we end up having these lanes be the same lane, and there's now an express through lane that opens up here. Not that I expect very many people to utilize it, to be clear. Is this guy going to merge over? Almost everyone is trying to take this bypass. And I kind of want to just get rid of the bypass, to be honest. I feel like it's not really helping all that much. We can't get rid of it. We'll have to do that in order to get rid of it. Okay, so let's get rid of that for now and see how the traffic flows when we bring this through. I expect this to go back to where it was. So what I mean by that is I expect this to, just come on through here. I expect this to start heavily utilizing the bypass here again. These guys are now going to head up to the roundabout. Arguably, we should maybe just replace the roundabout here. Except that this is a left-hand turn, right? The left-hand turn is what complicates things. No doubt about that. But the traffic is going to start flowing through here. It's just very high volumes of traffic. And I do expect, well, this is cleaned up somewhat. A lot of these people are taking this turnaround over here. Noted. Well, that's reasonably fine. Let's increase the speed here and see what ends up happening here. I don't love this bypass, so I might just completely remove it. I feel like it doesn't do what I wanted it to do, mostly because of lane-changing behaviors. So if we fully removed this, it doesn't actually change anything, right? And let's just upgrade this guy here. It's not exactly perfectly straight, but it's close enough. Okay. So let's just do something kind of like that for now. And obviously we have a pretty big backup down over this way. This is people trying to enter the city, but if they're trying to head north from here, this is fine. Because what we can do is we can remove the roundabout here, knock these guys back to approximately here or so, and then we can take this in. So this is going to be something kind of like this. I would like to drop this down to here, taking it over to here, and then bringing it up. That sloped too steep, so we're going to have to connect it like that. And that's absolutely fine. So then we can bring this guy in over here. What? Keeping it elevated. And it can go in like this. And then we just do these ramps. Nice and simple. If you want to turn right. If you want to turn left, it's more complicated. That slope too steep. Let's back this off a little.
If anyone finds them, please don't steal my
Even that slope too steep. A 21.5% grade. There is a pretty big fall off here. So really, this is probably fine out over here. Yep, and probably fine this direction as well. Yeah, but now that we're down this way, things are going to get very steep very quickly. So that pretty much means we're going to have to bring this in a little bit differently in terms of shape. Yeah, that's going to be very significant. So we're going to need to redo this highway a little bit. I want to grab our elevation tools here. We're going to need to grab this altitude, and we're just going to slam that on through there like that. And this highway is now going to come in to here, sitting ideally on the ground. So I want it to come up to about here at a 7.3% grade. And I want this to then sit on the ground and connect over to here. Unfortunately, this is too high for the highway. So we're going to have to drop this down ever so slightly in terms of its altitude. Maybe about here. Let's see how that would work for bringing this through. Yes, I saw a spot where it would accept that. Beautiful. So there we go. And now we can do our ramps here in theory. Oh, that's not in Curve Tool. Curve Tool does help. So we're going to end up having this be somewhere up over here or so. I want this to come in about like this. That slope too steep, but we can put it in there. And then this one would come in somewhere down here. Looks good. No left-hand turns allowed in these areas, of course. There we go. And if you're going right, that'll work just fine. If you're going left, less so. We'll just soften out the terrain that we added in here, and it'll be something kind of like that. If you're going straight, it's great. If you're going right, it's fine. That doesn't rhyme. But if you're going right, it's also fine. If you're going left, it's far more awkward. But most of these people aren't going to be going left. So in this case, I think it's okay. In theory. We should be relatively good here. This will clean this up significantly, because most of these guys wanted to go north from this directionality anyway. So I think that's relatively fine. The next question is, does the Daffodil Highway need to be brought up to 2 lanes? Well, that doesn't appear to be our bottleneck at this time. Our bottleneck right now is merging over into this turn lane, although I do expect that to clean up. So that seems reasonably okay. Let's check in up over here and see how things are going here. Okay. So there's definitely some slowdowns going on here with people trying to merge over. No doubt about that. Of course, the intended time for them to merge over is right here, when it's guaranteed that they will not have to wait, right? So you should already be in this lane by the time you get here, and then you merge into this lane. And then you have a dedicated turn lane, but there's quite a lot of space there. So other people can move over time. And then you take the Dale Highway here, and that'll take you up to the Fawn Highway. And from there, you can just kind of do whatever you're going to do. That seems good. Now, how is this traffic moving? The answer is reasonably, but slowly. But it is steadily moving through. No backups over here right now, although this guy's chilling and waiting. That's fine. Not super shocked about that one. Yeah, you can get going. Excellent. So now we just need to wait for this backup to work its way through, right? And we could make the argument that the Daffodil Highway here should be a two-laner. That this on-ramp should be a two-laner. That argument is, I think, a very valid one. So we could do something kind of like... That's very awkward. I'm going to take this out, and I'm just going to rebuild it as a two-laner. So this is going to be a dedicated lane. This one will be straight or turn. Either way is fine. It doesn't actually matter for us. So then this would end up coming up somewhere about right there. Ooh, that looks terrible. Okay, we're not going to do that. We're going to bring this up maybe more like here. Still terrible down here. Okay, that terrain is not great. No doubt about it. Let's get rid of that, and let's think about, like, just softening out the terrain here. I don't think that's the core problem. Yeah, I don't think that's the core problem here. Let's try the straight line tool and see if that cleans anything up there. Actually, that is better. Okay, let's take this all out then and try it with the straight line tool, just putting this up to about here. That is not better. That is a substantially worse outcome. Yeah, that's not ideal, for sure. So we could bring this in to be about here, and then bring it in. And now it seems fine. Okay, so now we've got two lanes here. This lane is straight or turn. This lane is dedicated turn. And both of these, of course, have to merge onto this highway. And there's no dedicated lane for them to merge on. But there's not a lot of traffic coming from the south, so I don't really expect that to be an issue. The primary traffic is from the Vermont Highway merging into the Oak Highway. So that should help this clean up with a significant amount of additional throughput. Anyone who's going straight can be in either of these two lanes, and anyone who's turning can be in either of these two lanes. So that creates a lot of freedom there. This guy doesn't necessarily have to be sitting here. But okay. He'll be sitting there for a bit until this clears up. But I want to check in up over here. Yeah, I'm not surprised that we have issues here. So I think a lot of these are wanting to turn north, is my guess. And they'll run into issues at this roundabout most likely. But what if we were to simply extend this guy over here in angle snap only mode? So to right about here or so. And then we just connected this in like so. So now this connects directly over to here, and then they can go north this way without turning around awkwardly. Arguably, once again, the Dale Highway here needs to be upgraded to 2-lane, and we can do it like this. There we go. And they'll get that figured out with their pathfinding soon enough here. Eventually. Eventually. The Vermont Highway over here is definitely clearing things up. So that looks good. We're seeing a number of people trying to turn right on the Fawn Highway to the Sunset Highway. They're slowing down a lot more than I think they need to here. But okay. I think they're being far more cautious than necessary with that particular turn. We could give them a guaranteed turn lane here for a little bit. So that would end up being a 6-lane road right in this area. So it would end up being something kind of like this, which would then merge back in up over here. We would need to, of course, remove crosswalks here and here, and remove stoplights here. But that will help this traffic move in a little bit better, I think. So now we're able to merge in here, and that just gives us a little bit more space to work with. And hopefully keeps the traffic moving a little bit better. Left-hand turns here, but it is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, no left-hand turns. What are you doing? Okay, there we go. And next episode, we are going to keep an eye on this traffic. Our demand curves haven't really been changing all that much, but we definitely do need to get the Dale Highway over here working a little bit better. We might even want to take this up to a 4-lane highway over here to have dedicated turn lanes for both of these. So that would end up being something like that. Okay. So that gives us 2 dedicated turn lanes to merge in over here. And then all of this traffic heads down and then over. And then this right here is maybe a little bit awkward. For the moment, it's probably acceptable to have these lanes crossing each other because I don't foresee heavy traffic in any direction other than this until this area gets developed. So for the moment, that seems reasonably fine. As I said, though, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to continue to watch this traffic and develop additional ways for it to flow better. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. This all cleared up. That looks good. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Kentogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.